Welcome, everybody, to Fantasy Football Today, presented by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. I was out to dinner last night. I was talking a little fantasy football, and somebody said, I got to get ready for my draft. Can you give me a list of sleepers? And I feel like that's so often the first thing people ask for. They don't ask for breakouts, even though they should, because sleepers win you weeks, breakouts win you leagues, TM. But they love sleepers. We're going to give you so many sleepers today. We're even going to play Name That Sleeper. Jamie Eisenberg is here. Good morning.
I decided I'm only going to wear blue-related things since everybody loved our jeans, chairs, everything we did on CBS Sports Network yesterday. So only blue.
We know what the Halloween episode's going to be.
Dave, good morning.
La, 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 la. Hi, Adam.
So you would be Papa Smurf.
Me?
Adam's obviously Smurfette.
Ooh. Jamie's going to be Brainy Smurf.
Brainy Smurf? Okay.
Yeah. Who's like the tall beer drinking Smurf?
Heathy Smurf?
Heathy Smurf. All right, listen. That's Jamie. That's Dave. I'm Adam, and I'm just letting you know I am going to kill Dan Schneier. I hate him right now.
Whoa, you can't
He sent
I get in trouble saying words like that.
He sent the most insulting text.
Change what you just said. Say it more creatively, please.
No, I'm going to kill him. I hate him.
Wow.
The gloves are coming off. He sent such an insulting text this morning to.
You think he meant it that way, or I just steered it in that direction?
No, he texted me privately after and said it was, quote, mental warfare.
Oh, okay, good.
He said, what did he say? He said, just had a chance. Oh, so Dave, Jamie, and Heath were on CBS Sports Network yesterday, just the three of them. And Dan sent it to the three of us, Heath and Schaefer, and he said, just had a chance to listen to yesterday's episode on CBSSN. Great stuff, guys. Seriously, that show flowed so well and was jam-packed with nuggets and actionable info. Started right away and kept rolling. And what a jerk. So he's trying to get in my head for the tennis match. We'll tell you more about that later. Let's play a little Name That Sleeper, because we have a lot of guys, most of them being drafted, if not all of them being drafted after pick 100. But I got 3 rounds of Name That Sleeper, and here we go. First round. I averaged 0.2 PPR points per game, fewer than Zay Flowers, yet I'm going 30 spots later than him at wide receiver. I had only 1 end zone target in 16 games in 2024. I have averaged 62 receiving yards per game, which is at 1,054 yard pace, twice in my career, 2021 and 2024. I averaged 1.3 more yards per target and 2.8 more yards per catch than my wide receiver teammate who's being drafted in round 2.
Darnell Mooney.
Yeah, Dave with the win. And the last clue I had, I think Jamie would have gotten this. Jamie wanted to add me in the Bake Burger Dynasty League last season, but he didn't realize the commissioner moved waivers to Tuesday night instead of Wednesday night.
Yep, still haunts me. Mm-hmm.
So we got to mention there's some injury news on Darnell Mooney, actually. Raheem Morris was pretty wishy-washy in terms of when he was coming back. He's week to week. We feel like he's going to be back at some point this season, I think he said.
No, he didn't say this season.
He said, sorry. He said, we'll have him back healthy this year, though.
This year,
I feel good about him getting back healthy and ready to go. When? I don't know. We'll have him back healthy this year, though. So
I get the sense from certain coaches when they get asked constantly about injured players, like D'Amico Ryans is kind of taking this route too. They just want to give like this blanket statement of they'll be back within a few weeks or within, we expect him back this season. You get the same catchphrases from certain players, certain coaches.
Okay, so Mooney, do you think he's got top 30 upside?
Yes, and I think the nice thing about it is we've said this about several players. He certainly fits the mold of a player you do not need to plan to start, that you can get with a double-digit round pick. And if he hits, you're going to be thrilled about it. And if he struggles or is out longer than you expect, this will be just one of the players that you cut. So I was probably aggressively drafting him pre-injury, clearly very early drafts, like as early as round 8. Like I really like the setup for Darnell Mooney. I will still draft him pretty aggressively, but not in round 8.
I was about to say, I bet you're going to draft him passively in round 10, which is where his ADP is on CBS right now. And it makes all the sense in the world because he's certainly going to return value better than that if he can play in 13 games and be good in like 6 of them. Like, he's a great flex for your bye weeks, deeper leagues, maybe a flex. Like, he's got that upside to go off in any game because of his role as a man beater, as a downfield target. We know Michael Penix can throw downfield, and Falcons might be aggressive in throwing him the ball downfield. So I love the pick in round 10.
Mm-hmm. And going in round 12 on Fantasy Pros, that's Darnell Mooney. All right, 1-0 Dave. Next up, all right, there were 89 wide receivers who had 50 or more targets last year. I ranked third in yards per catch. Somehow, this is awesome, 6th in ADOT, 6th highest ADOT, and yet 7th in yak per catch. So great combination of air yards and yak. But I had a 51% catch rate, which ranked 85th out of those 89 wide receivers with 50 or more targets. So good when he caught the ball, didn't catch it that often. My team was 17th in gross passing yards per game after 4 straight seasons in the top 10. And the last one, I attended a dreadful university.
Keon Coleman?
Yes. Sorry, I'm getting pretty fired up for Miami Notre Dame. Keon Coleman out of Florida State. Great university. Just trolling here. Keon Coleman. So, yeah, this was the profile. High ADOT. Did well when he caught the ball. Didn't catch it very often. We're hopeful for him. Is he? He's an easy pick because of the injury over Darnell Mooney, I would assume.
He is now, yeah. I think, the hope for Coleman is the environment is great. The quarterback is great. Is the player great? That's the best thing we have, or the biggest thing we have to find out, because I continue to say this. It felt like things were starting to come together for him in the 2 games prior to the wrist injury. You go back to, they had just traded for Amari Cooper. You remember the play? I think it was, pretty widely shared everywhere, of him telling Cooper what to do. So maybe he was starting to get a full grasp of the play on the field in the middle of the play. Cooper didn't know what he was doing, and he was telling him the route to run pre-snap. I don't know how much the wrist injury set him back. I don't know if he's ever going to be a dominant player. I was on Chris Harris's show on, I think it's airing today. So, and we were doing post-hype sleepers, and this was one of the guys I named. I think the profile, I think I maybe said this once or twice in the last couple of weeks, like the way that it will get done, clearly different player, but the way that it will get done will be like a Jameson Williams. Not a lot of targets, big plays, mostly touchdowns. And I think that's the thing that's going to save him if he's going to be a good fantasy option, because he's not going to be a 140 target guy. He's not going to be an 80-plus catch guy unless things just fall apart and he's that good. He may get to 1,000 yards receiving, but I don't think much more than that. But I think he can be an 8 to 10 touchdown guy. And so where you'll draft him will probably be great return if those things come to fruition, especially now with Shakir dealing with the ankle injury and Josh Palmer and Elijah Moore, the guys he's competing with. Like, this is the guy they want to see. They want to see play at a high level, and it would benefit us.
All right.
Touchdowns have to be there. The touchdowns have to be there, and the targets have to be there. I don't think he can be as good as Stephon Diggs was. And Diggs was an awesome target for Josh Allen, but he's the only guy in the last 5 years in Buffalo to average more than 14 PPR points per game.
Keon Coleman or Christian Kirk?
Coleman
right now.
There's just more upside.
Keon Coleman or Josh Downs?
Coleman.
I have Coleman over Downs, but that's all 3 of them are in that same range of receivers who I think you should expect somewhere between 12 and 13 PPR points per game from. It's just that Coleman's got a little bit more upside because it's a second year. There's changes potentially coming to this Bills offense, especially if James Cook does sit out for a while.
Oh, back at practice today. Expected back at practice today.
He's practicing.
Ooh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. That's great news.
Yeah, came hot off the presses this morning. You know what else is great news?
Out there.
All right, that's great news. So is what you can get on the BetMGM app. If you haven't signed up yet for BetMGM, use the bonus code FANTASY, and you're going to get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. So here's how it works. Download the BetMGM app and use that bonus code FANTASY when you sign up. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. and you'll receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your bet loses. Just make sure that you use the bonus code FANTASY when you sign up. I actually was using the BetMGM app last night because I had a very fun dinner with my softball friends, and we were talking football. It was awesome. Just a bunch of guys talking football, and there was a big debate about who was going to be worse, the Dolphins or the Patriots or the Jets. Who was going to finish last in the AFC East? So we looked up all their Super Bowl odds, and we had representation from all three teams of fans. It was fun. All right, last one. We're tied at 1. Let's go to number 3. I am the only sleeper that is on Jamie's list, but not on Dave's, of the lists you guys provided for today's show. My ADP the last 4 seasons, including this season, has been round 3, round 6, round 6, round 12. You can find me in cherries, peaches, mangoes, and more.
Kyle Pitts.
Yay!
Of course I get it with the food clue.
By the way, look at the spelling of mangoes there. Schaefer is Ron Burgundy because I spelled it wrong when I sent him the clue, and he just continued to spell it wrong. The next clue was I have averaged 36.9 receiving yards per game in my last 3 seasons. That's horrible. And the final clue was I attended a dreadful university.
Let's see. So, you can find him in cherries, peaches, mangoes, and Adam's tennis game.
Oh, it's the Pitts? Okay, I get that. Dave, how come Kyle Pitts isn't on your sleepers list? Do you think he's a sleeper?
Because I've got eyeballs and I've watched him for 4 years, and I just don't want to watch him or root for him or count on him anymore. I can't fault Jamie for putting him in as a double-digit round pick, but he falls into the exact same category as any late round sleeper. You're going to draft him. You're going to hope for good things. If he has a good game or 2 in the first 3 weeks of the season, cool. You're going to keep him on your team. Otherwise, you're cutting him for somebody else. Don't be surprised if you're cutting him for somebody else.
All right, Jamie, you want to make a quick sleepers case for Kyle Pitts?
I mean, I think Dave said it best based on the value. That's the hope is that the upside kicks in. I like the fact that the quarterback is clearly behind him and supporting him. I like the fact that there's an opportunity here for him to get concentrated targets, especially if Mooney's going to miss any extended period of time with this shoulder injury. I think contract situation is going to motivate him, hopefully, now that he's got to play for his next deal. You tend to see that sometimes. Look, he got off to a decent start last year. It didn't really coincide when Cousins started to struggle. But the first 4 or 5 games, he was averaging 10 PPR points per game. That's not what anybody expected from him. That's obviously what not anybody hoped for him after we saw that 1,000-yard season. But if he gets to that number, he's in the mix to be a top 12 tight end. So based on where you're taking him at this point, easy player just to see what the first few games look like. If he's terrible, like Dave said, you move on. The only thing I will say is if you are a 2 QB drafter, don't make yourself a 2 tight end drafter unless you just have deep benches. So pick one of the onesie positions. That's just more of a blanket statement, not necessarily a Kyle Pitts statement. I don't think you want to double up on quarterback and tight end, taking chances on 2 players that may hit. Could work out for you, obviously, but just not something I would recommend, especially if it's a 5-person bench or even a 6-person bench. But if you take a tight end, and we know this position is clearly harder to find guys that have breakout potential or sleeper potential, whatever you want to qualify him as. Really, once you get past the top 3 tight ends, it's not a bad idea to take a shot twice at the position, from Laporta on down. So he would be in the mix again with those late round tight ends. And it's funny because I'm pretty sure, not that I check it all the time, but I think Dave has him ranked higher than I do. Yeah. When you get to the older tight ends versus the younger tight ends, and I think really there are 2 that qualify that will get drafted with late round picks. They're both in my sleepers column. It's Dalton Kincaid and Kyle Pitts. Clearly, a lot of people are frustrated with those 2, understandably so. Those 2 guys, maybe you want to throw Ferguson in that category, but I would put him as a little safer option. But like Ferguson and Ertz and Goddard, like you kind of know what you're getting with them. They're going to be in that 10, 11 PPR point per game range. They're going to be safe. If Pitts or Kincaid actually hit and perform to their level of potential, they should be better than those guys. So it's a matter of what kind of sleeper or late round tight end you want. For me, I would shoot for a little bit more of the upside. And again, I don't have it ranked that way because I think if I just wait on tight end and I just need one, I'm taking Ertz over Pitts. I think that makes more sense. Ferguson over Kincaid, those type of things. But if I'm looking for that second guy to hit, it would be the Kincaid Pitts route just to see if those guys come to, some level of extreme production.
But you could also get Warren and Loveland after pick 100.
Well, that goes without saying. Like, you're taking those guys ahead of Pitts and Kincaid, or at least you should.
Yeah. So you can still wait 8-9 rounds and get a tight end that might be awful, but has a lot of talent, a lot of upside.
It's pretty crazy. I did a full ADP breakdown of our site. They'll be up at some point, I hope today. I did 4 different stories, so you can see quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. I was really shocked. The ADP tight ends across the board, like Bauer's ADP on our site is 25. Like, that was a little surprising that he's outside the first 2 rounds. But the difference between Warren and Loveland was glaring. How much sooner Warren is going than Loveland's going. And so if you're just looking at it like for me, they're close. I would take the discount on Loveland, but really just to tie in Pitts and Kincaid. I don't want to go Warren or Loveland and Kincaid or Pitts. I'd rather go Warren or Loveland with an Ertz or Goddard type player, just to get a little bit more of a floor with the upside of those two guys. So, I don't know if I'm explaining that the right way, but like, if I'm taking the shot on the rookie tight end, I want a little safer floor. If I'm taking a shot on Njoku and he may stink because of whatever the quarterback situation may be at some point during the season, like, I'd rather have the Pitts potential upside moving forward.
You'd rather have one tight end with upside and one tight end with a high floor.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Why not 2 tight ends with upside, knowing that there's going to be some high floor tight ends on waivers?
It's a fair question. Yeah, you can easily go that route. I think just knowing that how this position has operated and performed, and these 2 in particular, Pitt, if it was taking a shot on, let's say, Ingram and one of the rookies, like that, I would do.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
What about a low upside, low floor tight end? Would you take one of those?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, I mean, you might get that with Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, all right, we got a lot of names to get to today. So let's take a break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you how to get in the podcast league, how to get in the Draftathon league, which is maybe the most appealing for you guys if you really want to test your chops against some of the best in the industry, and much more. We'll be right back on Fantasy Football Today.
You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. So even if you can't count on accurate expiration dates,
that is a rookie mistake,
or people appreciating your fashion sense,
Jim, the crowd is not on board here.
You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus.
Glad we wear our good jerseys.
Yeah.
We're back here on Fantasy Football Today. All right, so this is really important. If you purchase a spot in the Fantasy Football Today Open, the FFT Open, the drafts are all, some of them actually, there's one underway. We can talk about some of the results, but the drafts are starting next Monday, the 18th. If you haven't joined the league, if you haven't received the invite, I've reached out to everyone who hasn't accepted yet. You have to get in touch with me. Some of the emails are bouncing back, whatever it might be. I'm sorry. I know this is only directed at, we have thousands of people listening. It's directed at like 15 people. But if you're in the FFT Open and you pay $250, I want you to be a part of it. Please reach out, fantasyfootball@cbsi.com. That is the letter I, fantasyfootball@cbsi.com. And, we'll get you in the league and we'll get it sorted out. But we've got less than a week to make this happen. The other things you can be part of here, go to tinyurl.com/2025FFT. Scroll down. Thomas is going to show you right now. Scroll down, click on you're already on the auction house. All right, go to the auction house from the main page, and you've got spots in the podcast league. You just click on view auction house. There are, I think, 6 spots available in the podcast league. It tells you exactly where you're picking from. Private pre-draft Zoom calls with the 3 of us, Heath, Dan, Jacob Gibbs. You can bet on the tennis match. If you bet on Team Adam, or not bet on, but you can bid on the tennis match. If you bid on Team Adam and you win, you're co-managing with me. And all I have to do is win 5 games to cover the spread. If you are on Team Schneier, you're co-managing with him in the FFT league. And if I win fewer than 5 games, then he wins that. And then there's the Draftathon league with experts. So Jamie, you have a quick rundown of some of the guys who are in that league, because this is maybe the toughest league you could be in, and you have a chance to be in this league. You only have 2 days left, by the way. So Jamie, who's in that league?
If everybody returns, it is Scott Fish, Andy Holloway of the footballers, Jake Seeley, Joe Pisapia, Jake Seeley of the Athletic, Joe Pisapia of Fantasy Pros, myself, Dave and Heath, Chris Harris
in that one.
Chris Harris,
Yeah,
Harris Football.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to disrespect anybody by not mentioning their name, so I apologize.
Yeah, that's okay. I shouldn't have put you on the spot like that. But the point is,
Nando in it.
Nando is in it. Yes.
the point is, you're going to be facing some of the best in the biz, and you can be in that. So go to tinyurl.com/2025FFT. There's only a day or two left for these for you to bid on them. I understand if you're trying to slow play it and wait to put your bid in. I get that, but don't wait too long. Click on View Auction House, and you'll see all of these things available, and all of this is going to St. Jude. All right.
And just to note, we play that league out. It's not just a draft, and the winner gets a donation in their name to St. Jude.
Excellent. All right. Other
Who won
stuff.
that league last year?
Live streams. All right. Live stream tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern.
We're not
Live
gonna-
stream.
Yeah.
Who won?
Dave.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why I asked.
All right. Live stream tonight, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Live mock draft. Live stream Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern to 6 p.m. Fantasy questions. And of course, the tennis match.
Adam Rank and Marcus Grant of the NFL Network are in that league as well. And
How could you forget Marcus?
Eric Young, a professional wrestler.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to be streaming live from 4 to 6, but it's probably sometime around 4:30 to 6 or something like that. But live
4:30 would be better for me, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, youtube.com/fantasyfootball.
I am reaching out to some tennis pros to join me.
I was going to ask my tennis pro today, so you want to wait on that.
I meant like tennis pros.
Yeah, he's a pro.
No, I mean like professional tennis players.
Oh, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and we're on CBS Sports Network tomorrow or Wednesday
That
at.
was the most nervous laugh I've ever heard.
No, that's cool. That's awesome. Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. All right, let's get some sleepers here.
And there will be Nando DeFino in some capacity.
So we're gonna have a lot of fun. Even if you don't want to watch the tennis match, you want to just talk a little fantasy football. Tune in youtube.com/fantasyfootball today, Thursday, sometime in the 4 to 4:30 range until 6 p.m. Eastern. All right, Dave's sleepers. These guys are all being drafted after pick 100, both on CBS and on Fantasy Pros. We've got Matthew Golden. So we've talked about Keon Coleman and Darnell Mooney. Golden's ahead of them, right? And his ADP could be rising, especially with the Jaydon Reed injury. When would you take Matthew Golden?
His ADP might be falling after today's news.
Oh, yeah, Jordan Love. Right. Sorry, let me throw that in there. Jordan Love has a left thumb injury. He's having a minor procedure, and he is hopeful to be back for week 1.
They said he'll be ready for week 1.
Expected for week 1. Okay.
And he's a right-handed quarterback, so it just sounds like something that was necessary for him to survive through the year, but it shouldn't impact the way he throws a football very much, but how he handles snaps, stuff like that. It needs to be done. I loved what I saw from Matthew Golden, not only in college, but also in the first preseason game. He was getting open pretty much at will. Good speed, good technique in his routes. I'm okay with him in full PPR in round 7. I know it seems a little early. But I think he's going to be the number 1 target getter for Green Bay. I think he's got a chance to put up some very nice numbers this year. Should be able to finish as at least a top 36 wide receiver. I'm tempering it there, though. I think there's going to be weeks where he's top 10, top 12. Just the type of high upside ceiling receiver that you should be targeting in your drafts.
So I am writing Breakouts 3.0 today, and I think I'm just going to do it to troll Adam specifically and just make the entire list.
No.
Rookies.
No.
Yes, just
ridiculous.
For you.
Why is it ridiculous?
Because what are you breaking out from? It's your first year in the league.
So I'm gonna qualify it as that these guys are going to outperform their average draft position by 2 rounds or more.
Okay, I like that.
And so I think that Golden has a huge opportunity here. Jaydon Reed's in a walking boot. They love him. Dave said it, like he's been everything you could ask for so far. And I think the fun part about this is like we have a lot of expectations and a lot of questions about this amazing rookie running back class. And yet it seems as if we're getting a lot of clarity with these rookie wide receivers in some great spots of this class that was not supposed to be great, of where McMillan is stepping into this great role and Hunter looks like he's going to be as good as advertised. And now you have Egbuka with this clear runway of, maybe no Godwin to start the season. And now Matthew Golden is in this unbelievable spot where would he be the one with Reed? Would he have an opportunity to live up to being a first-round pick? Was he overdrafted? He's answering all those questions right now.
No, he's not.
Well, he is.
How is he?
He is a little.
This is, but okay, but rookies get so much hype every preseason.
But I'm just talking about the situation being.
Okay, the situation looks good, yeah, but I don't know that we can say that he's. I don't.
Well, I think if we were saying you're drafting the number one receiver for the Packers, who was a first-round pick and has a chance to be the target leader on the team, we'd be talking about a guy Dave says top 36. We'd be drafting him as a top 30 receiver, no questions.
Easy.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, he's going 100th or something. After 100,
I'm gonna guess by the end of this month he's in the high 80s, low 90s is ADP. So he may climb 10 to 15 spots, because of things like this. Like, we're hyping him up, no question about it. So yes, rookie wide receivers, rookies in general, just get overhyped. There's no way around it. Like, you look at situations and you say, great, look, oh my God, shiny new toy, gotta go get it. I just told you I'm going to do a whole breakout column on rookies. So there's a lot to love about the situation, but that's why you're drafting him this way. So Dave says round 7. Yeah, I think he can get there. Wouldn't shock me.
And it helps that there's actual evidence on film that he's got a little bit of discipline in his route running and that the speed is not an issue whatsoever. You might remember me saying during like the lead up to the draft, which Matthew Golden are NFL teams getting? Are they getting the guy who kind of toiled a little bit for 2 years at Houston and went to Texas and struggled and then finally got an opportunity to be the lead receiver at Texas? In his last 10 games, he played like a first-round pick. And I think that's who Green Bay got. He seems like it just seems like everything's clicking for him. And Jaden Reed could be healthy, and I'd still be this excited about Matthew Golden.
Ricky Pearsall or Matthew Golden?
Pearsall.
They're back-to-back for me. I have Pearsall one spot ahead, so I would take both, as you see here, based on the rankings, the consensus rankings, over Olave, over Godwin at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You just have to hope that these teams throw more, especially Green Bay.
I would be shocked if they don't throw more. Now, this thumb injury may change that. I think the one thing you got to look at with Matt LaFleur, the same thing with Sean McVay, the same thing with Kevin O'Connell. They are so smart, Kyle Shanahan. Like, they're so smart at adjusting to what works best for their teams. And Jordan Love couldn't move last year. He had the knee injury, he had the groin injury. He wasn't the same quarterback. And so what was working? Josh Jacobs was awesome. Like, I think it was Popinski in our chat said they're going to be a run dominant team. They're probably going to be a run dominant team, but I think they're going to be much closer to 50%, 50-50 than they were last year. Maybe they don't get back to what they were end of 2023. But at that point, again, had no run game.
All right, Dave, let's talk about your next guy on the list, Tyler Warren. So Warren is going
much this year.
116th on CBS, 110th on Fantasy Pros and PPR average draft position. Look, there's an obvious issue here, right? There's only been one tight end last 3 years that's finished top 5 and been on a team that's averaged fewer than 227 passing yards per game. To put that in perspective, Anthony Richardson averaged 174 yards per game last year if you remove week 4, which he left with an injury. Daniel Jones has eclipsed 227 passing yards per game twice in 6 seasons. 6 or 5? 6 seasons. But he's been well below that 4 times in 6 seasons. So can the Colts really give me a true sleeper who's going to, change things in fantasy in Tyler Warren?
And this is a player who, unlike Matthew Golden, I thought he didn't look great in his first preseason game, even though there are some catches and runs that he had where he looked good, but there were other things that he did where he didn't look as good. I think his blocking could have gotten better. I feel like he played a little bit slower than he did at Penn State. Maybe it was his first game and he was thinking too much out there. I think he's just a really unique talent at tight end. His ability to get yards after the catch and after contact is outstanding. And we saw that translate in the preseason game, and I think we'll continue to do so. He's not a big downfield weapon. Could he run 15 plus yards and catch a ball? Of course he can. But I bet the Colts use him as a short area target, as an outlet for these quarterbacks, as an easy option for these quarterbacks. And in the case of Warren, especially, like a red zone option. So I've been saying it all offseason long. I think he can lead this team in all the receiving categories. I think he can finish as a top 12 tight end. I think he's got that kind of potential. And being able to draft that in the middle of round 9 plus it just feels like a real easy pick, because who am I passing on at tight end at that point who's got more upside and isn't in as crowded of a receiving core?
So I'm going to ask
Dublin, I think, has he's got more mouths to feed in Chicago's offense. And now we've got questions about Caleb and how great of a thrower he is. He's better than the guys in Indy, but he's not what a typical number 1 overall pick should be, at least not based on the reports so far.
It's not which tight end are you passing up. It's which wide receiver, which running back, which quarterback. Because in round 10, round 9, if he gets there, whatever, there's still a lot of really exciting players at the other positions. That's kind of where I struggle with Warren. But hopefully, look, at that point, you should have built up your roster to the point where you can say, all right, listen, I'd love to get Keon Coleman, but it's not going to happen. I need to take Tyler Warren here or whatever. You pivot. You can't have every sleeper. You just can't. All right, next up on
But he's a great name. Sorry, Adam. He's a great name to remember if you whiff on tight end early.
Absolutely. No,
and we already talked about the other veterans that you could add with him.
I don't remember what draft it was. I actually reached for him. Gosh, I don't know, round 8 or 9, because I really want Tyler Warren. And he's so exciting to me. So yes, I sometimes go into drafts intentionally thinking I'm probably going to wait on tight end, or at least maybe after the first 3 rounds or so. Like, all right, now I'm just going for Tyler Warren. I don't know if you guys do that too. But
it's so conducive where you pick, because if you pick middle of the first round, you're in play for Bowers or McBride. If you pick late in round 1, you're in play for Kittle. If you pick early in round 1, unless McBride falls and you're willing to take him, you're probably playing the waiting game. And then it's just a matter of which tight end you're waiting for.
And Jamie means if you pick late in round 1, you're in play for Kittle at near the 3-4 turn, hopefully in round 4.
I'd rather play Hungry Hippos.
Emeka Egbuka. We've talked a lot about him, so I'm just going to ask you, Egbuka or Matthew Golden?
Golden
for now, but if we get worse news on Godwin, it's easily Egbuka.
Do you guys think Egbuka should be a top 100 pick?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a breakout.
Easily.
So that means he's going ahead of Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, maybe.
No, I wouldn't do that.
We think he's undervalued. How about like Jacoby Myers or Emeka Egbuka?
Myers for now, but again, if Godwin's news gets worse, then Egbuka.
All right, and then this is good news, because it's probably going to be hard for him to crack the top 100, or at least maybe the top 95, because it's a deep position, right? These guys are going late. Keon Coleman, we already talked about. Tank Bigsby is next on Dave's sleepers list. So Bigsby is 121st on CBS overall and 143rd on Fantasy Pros. That's RB44. And
he's not moving up because everybody's so focused on ETN having all the first team reps in their first preseason game.
I would say that this is going to be one of the most frustrating backfields all season long, because Bhayshul Tuten got first team reps on Monday, and we are going to see at least 3 guys getting touches, potentially 4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those things where, depending on how many leagues you play in, like, take shots on one Jaguars running back. I right now, the only one I want is Tuten.
Because you get him so late.
Because I get him late.
Okay.
I'll take Bigsby in round 10 all day long.
I don't think he's going to sit in round 10, though. That's the problem. Like, his first off, like, I'm sure, Adam, if you look at NFC ADP, because you could change the dates, like, go back prior to the preseason game. Like, I wonder where he was.
Okay, I'll look from, let's say, July 25th through.
No, you got to go like when training camp started, when he was getting, like, just do the week before camp. Like, do August 1st to August 7th or something like that.
August 1st?
Yep.
Oh, okay. August 1st through. Okay. Keep talking.
So I'll tell you why I like Bigsby. First of all, he's never going to play third downs. He's just not a pass catching back. He's a running downs back.
He's a trap back.
Yeah. Okay. except I think he can work at the goal line. And if this offense is going to put up a lot of points and they're going to move the ball through the air and they're creatively designed by Liam Cohen, then I'm cool taking a running back who might score 7, 8 times over the course of a season. And he might have 10, 12 carries on top of that. He could be the goal, not just the goal line back, but the 4-minute back. So when they're playing with a lead in the second half, he's getting carries. We know that he's more than capable of having explosive plays. His efficiency last year was through the roof, blew away ETNs. And there's a lot to really like about Bigsby based on last year, based on all the reports, based on his game. He's not a perfect all-around back, but if he was, we wouldn't be drafting him in round 9, round 10, wherever. He'd be going 3 rounds higher. And I feel like we know what ETN is at this point. And yes, the ultimate thing that I would agree with you, Jamie, on is that there is going to be a committee. It is going to be a mess. But I think, I don't know if there's really another back on this roster who they're going to trust in short yardage other than Bigsby.
Okay, so from August 1st through August 7th, Travis Etienne. This is NFC average draft position, high stakes leagues. Travis Etienne was going 99th overall, and Tank Bigsby was going 123rd overall.
I'm surprised. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I also love the first 2 games for Jacksonville this year against Carolina and against Cincinnati. They should be able to score on those teams. Bigsby could score in each of those games. Obviously, it gets a little bit harder after that, but I think he's a great value this late in the draft.
You also think Zach Ertz is a good value. You went to the joint practice and you saw something there. You can talk about that when we come back. We're going to take a break and finish up with some more sleepers. 3 more from Dave, a list from Jamie as well, and we'll be back after this.
Can I get a spot real quick?
Yeah, sure, man. Hey, wait a minute. You're Dave Richard from FFT.
Yeah.
Huh. Hey, I snagged Alvin Kamara in the 4th round. What do you think?
Is it PPR?
Yeah, full point.
All right, we're back here. So Zach Ertz, he's tight end 18 on Fantasy Pros, going 153rd. On CBS, Ertz going earlier than that. He's 122nd overall, but still, we're now into round 11 there. So safety valve for Jaydon Daniels. I guess I would just say, listen to yesterday's show. Dave talked about Ertz toward the end of the program. But, you know, would you take the safe Ferguson Goddard group or Zach Ertz?
He's part of that safe group. I'd go Ferguson over Ertz, but I'd take Ertz over Goddard.
Okay. Drake Maye is next on your list. We've talked a lot about Drake Maye.
Yeah.
You said you're moving him up. He's going 130th on CBS, 140th, QB 18 on Fantasy Pros. And he seems to be, I mean, we talk about blob at wide receiver. There's definitely a blob at backup quarterback. Maye seems to be one who's rising up the rankings and appears to be close to the front for you two, not for Heath. Go ahead, Dave.
I think he's a double-digit round pick. I think Jamie might take him a little bit sooner than that, so that means I'm not going to get him in a lot of our drafts. I also think that he cannot be your only quarterback to start the season, but not only is he a candidate to throw for close to 4,000 yards and maybe 20, 25 touchdowns through the air. Let's call it 25 touchdowns through the air. He's going to run for a bunch of touchdowns. Did it in the joint practice against Washington. He did it in the preseason game against Washington. And he's talked a lot this offseason about, well, I know I can't count on my legs, but there's going to be points in the game where I know how big I am and I know that I can run and I'm going to take off. And just there's a little bit of Josh Allen in Drake Maye. And wouldn't you love to get a Josh Allen, a low rent Josh Allen in round 10 just to see what happens? If you're inclined to carry 2 quarterbacks, Maye is the best one that you could draft as your second quarterback.
Last one on Dave's list for now. He has provided 2 other lists, but for now it's Ray Davis. And Jamie, I think Ray Davis was on your list as well. 1 game without James Cook last year. Ray Davis had 23 touches, 152 total yards, 18.2 PPR fantasy points. It was pretty awesome stuff. Does anybody think Ray Davis has value if James Cook does not get hurt?
Does not get hurt? No. I think, well, value as a starter? No. Flex in deeper leagues? Potentially. Because I think we're going to see some usage where he gets maybe a little bit more involved this year. And we saw it last year, like he was starting to make some plays. He had 4 games with, I think it's 4, with double digits in carries. And all 4 of those, he was, I think it was like 13 PPR points or more. Like he did great. Some of it was, getting late touchdowns, but I don't know. I hope the history of what these hold out running backs doesn't take hold of what happened to James Cook like it did 2 years ago with Josh Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor. Granted, practicing situations were different because Cook started to practice, missed some practice, came back to practice clearly today. So not as much of maybe a negative slant, but should he miss any time, I think Ray Davis could be a league winner. His appeal is not as good with Cook coming back to practice today. This is going to, sort of play itself out as long as Cook sat. So his ADP probably won't change very much.
If Cook signs his contract extension, Davis is a handcuff. If Cook continues to if Cook continues to practice, doesn't get his extension, but is ready to go week 1, we don't have to worry about the impact of a hold-in, and Davis is a handcuff. The only way he's a sleeper is if James Cook does not practice much before the start of the season.
Yeah, but at the very least, he's a high-end handcuff. He could be really good.
Yeah, but now it's like round 12, and if you take him and you don't have James Cook on your team, he's probably going to be the first guy you cut when you need a roster spot.
All right, so James Cook practicing today. Let's go to our news and notes real quick here. Well, Jamie, this is great timing. So now I'm going to ask you, James Cook, just because he's practicing today, it's not like everything necessarily all hunky-dory, but it's nice that he's back. James Cook, Travion Henderson, RJ Harvey, who's your favorite?
Probably if this, I give it one more day just to see if this was a goodwill gesture by Cook to say, hey, I'm back, pay me, or if it's going to see how this goes. Right now, I'll still take the 2 rookies over James Cook, but if he's back, gets his deal, then that's one spot where I'll move. He will not get back to where he was. He will be behind. He will not crack the top 12 and will barely be just inside the top 15. And I will not take him in the first 3 rounds.
This could be a fool you. We'll see how it plays out. Cameron Hayward, Pittsburgh defensive tackle. He could extend his holdout into the regular season. They were a lot better against the run with him on the field last year. 3.7 yards per carry to running backs compared to 5.2 with him off the field. Jordan Love, again, having the procedure on his left thumb, should be ready for the regular season. Kyle Shanahan mentioned week 6 as a possible return date for Brandon Ayuk, but he also said, hey, it could be week 5, could be week 10. So Ayuk is nowhere near.
He has no idea.
As it appear. This team is so depleted at wide receiver. Jordan Watkins is going to miss about a month with a high ankle sprain. Juwan Jennings and Jacob Cowing remain out. Jennings may or may not be injured. We know he wants a new contract. Demarcus Robinson is facing a possible suspension for a DUI. So it is Ricky Pearsall's room to dominate right now. Matthew Stafford did not practice on Monday. He was supposed to. He's going in. He's got this kind of trailer that heals all wounds that everybody's buzzing about. They have like a chamber that he's been in, but hopefully he's back today.
Heath brought this up on the greatest show ever that you weren't part of. That it feels as if maybe Garoppolo not as bad as could be for those guys.
Yeah, there have been some really good reports about Garoppolo in practice. Garoppolo in the joint practice against Dallas. Connecting with Devontae Adams, have they buried the hatchet and are friends
Adams
again?
said it was misunderstood for what it's worth, and that he likes Garoppolo.
It certainly appears that way.
Yeah.
If there's a dip on Nakua and Adams, I'm buying all day long.
Rashad White is day-to-day with a groin injury. Just read an article this morning about Bucky Irving from ESPN.com, Jenna Lane. The article says, Irving's missed tackle rate last season reflects that. In 2024, he produced a missed tackle rate of nearly 60% of his carries, the highest rate tracked by Next Gen Stats since they started tracking in 2016. Woo! And then this was a quote. He's even light years ahead of where he was at this point last year. This is from offensive coordinator Josh, I believe it's Grizzard.
You're correct.
Okay.
It's Grizzard.
Just the strides he's made, even from that point, are amazing. You can see the work that he puts in. You guys talk to him. He loves it, and he's committed to it. That's Bucky Irving. Philadelphia gets good news on Landon Dickerson, star offensive guard. He's hopeful to return for week 1. He's having a minor knee procedure. Houston tight end Brevin Jordan left practice with a knee injury. Could be serious. He played in only 2 games last year. Cleveland quarterback update. Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel are progressing. Gabriel could play this week. Zach Jackson of The Athletic says that Joe Flacco is probably the week 1 starter. He also said that Flacco and Jerry Jeudy have been connecting well. He said Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson were 1A and 1B in the backfield. And he says the receiving core is Jeudy and a bunch of question marks. Meanwhile, Seattle wide receiver Torrey
You saw
Horton.
the latest depth chart they released, right?
No.
Shadur Sanders still 4th.
Oh, 4th, yeah. Seattle wide receiver Torrey Horton working with the first team. And John Machota of The Athletic says that no running back, he's a Cowboys reporter for The Athletic, no running back for Dallas has come close to running away with the starting job. Javonte Williams has been getting most of the first team reps, but Jaydon Blue and Miles Sanders are currently out with injuries. And bad news for Miami running back Alexander Mattison. Tough to see it. He is out for the season with a neck injury.
They said today not career ending. So
Good.
Hopefully he has a chance to continue his career. No Malik Neighbors are practiced today for the Giants.
Okay.
Are you still concerned?
Am I still concerned? I'm concerned about 3 things. I'm concerned about Malik Neighbors' toe. I'm concerned about Malik Neighbors' quarterback when it's eventually the rookie Jackson Dart. I don't care how he looked in the preseason. And I'm concerned that if I don't draft Malik Neighbors, I'm going to be making the biggest mistake of my life. Because he's so good. And he is going to get a lot of targets. But I hope he comes back and makes us.
Right, let me play out a scenario for you. If I told you Malik Neighbors is the number 1 receiver in fantasy through the first 10 weeks of the season, they're 2-8 by that point, and they bench Russ. Finally decides it's enough. They bench Russ. And for the last 7 games through the fantasy championship, Malik Neighbors is wide receiver 30 from that point on. Where would you draft Neighbors?
Round 2. If not round 3.
What if that's through 12 weeks?
Round 2.
That's a first round pick, man. He's going to give you huge production for the first 10 weeks.
So last year it was 23 points per game was Chase, right? So let's say he's 23 points per game through the first 10 weeks of the season.
Yeah, it's right where we're drafting him.
Here's the thing, I don't know in advance that he's going to struggle in the playoffs, right?
I'm telling you right now, you looked at your magic 8 ball, and you said, what is Malik Neighbors the number 1 receiver for the first 10 weeks of the season? And it says yes. And then you say, is Malik Neighbors the number 30 wide receiver for the last 6 weeks of the season, whatever the case may be? And it says yes. So because you trust the magic 8 ball more than you trust your wife, that that's guaranteed to happen. There it is.
I draft Malik Neighbors in first round? So wait, I can bench him for the last 6 games because I know ahead of time.
Bench him for the last 6 games.
Oh, then I'm going to take him like 2nd overall.
But you know that it's going to be. So it goes from 23 points per game to 13.
This reminds me of
flex him if it's 13.
This reminds me of the fall of the House of Usher. If anybody saw that. All right. I never mentioned
that before you watch The Sopranos. Amazing.
I never mentioned Kyle Monangai, I think. Maybe we should be talking about him in the Sleepers episode. He had 5 carries for 50 yards at Miami.
He was okay. He was up and down, I would say. Some good bursts, though. Didn't look like a 7th round pick.
All right, here's Jamie's sleeper.
Wait, just real quick, because you mentioned Madison. Jamal Williams is making the rounds. Like, he went to work out for the Bears. He's working out for the Dolphins, or did work out for the Dolphins. I think they moved on because they signed Mike Boone. But Chicago clearly is not happy with something. Roshan's been banged up.
Yeah.
Are they looking for that guy? And this was the original guy. Does he come in and be the goal line option?
But something's up with him if he keeps making the rounds. Because if he would look good, someone would sign him. He hasn't looked good.
It might have been he's in Chicago and they like what they saw, and then he finds out that Alexander Madison's neck is bad, and his agent said,
"That's true. First. It's possible."
Yeah, like Jamal Williams is what? He's 30. He's just not that great anymore, unfortunately. All right, Jamie's list of sleepers. So Jordan Love is on your sleepers list. You changing that?
Not at all. I think this will push him down a little bit and still make him just as good. If this was knee, ankle, hamstring, something that, as we saw last year, groin injury, knee injury, he did not run at all. Under 100 yards rushing for the season. Like, he was clearly not himself.
Yeah,
I love right thumb. I'd be nervous.
Right thumb. Right.
His 17-game pace, if you take out week 18, played 35% of the snaps in week 18. 17-game pace was 4,031 yards, 30 touchdowns. What was his 17-game pace? It is even better if you remove week 8 and week 18 because he played 63% of the snaps in that. So now we're looking at 4,086 yards, 33 touchdowns, which is not much worse than what he did the year before. The big difference was he had only almost no rushing production, but we certainly expect that to come back. Trevor Lawrence is QB 20 on Fantasy Pros. He's going after pick 140 on CBS and Fantasy Pros. He's in the blob, the quarterback blob. So, yeah, okay, there's plenty of reasons to like Trevor Lawrence, Jamie.
I like what Liam Cohen did with Baker Mayfield last year, and I think the rushing is going to be something that stands out for Trevor because he got 2 seasons on his resume with over 330 rushing yards. Would not shock me if he's a 400-yard rusher. I think based on the weapons that he has at his disposal, a lot of upside. So, good late round pick.
Okay. Jaydon, you got 4 running backs. Jaydon Blue.
He's there, sorry.
Oh, I was like, that was a very brief. Did you want to say something else?
No, I'm good. I got it out.
All right.
Including the sneeze.
Bless you, Jamie. Jaydon Blue, Tyjae Spears, Ray Davis, Braelon Allen. Jaydon Blue, Tyjae Spears, Ray Davis, Braelon Allen. Now, we already talked about Ray Davis, right? So,
Spears, I'll have to adjust that. I didn't realize it was still in there. So Spears was one of my favorite sleepers, as you know. I can't put him in this category with the high ankle sprain.
Come on. Yes, you can.
No.
Stick with it.
No.
What round would you draft Tyjae in?
Now?
Yeah.
11 or 12.
He's going later than that. He's going 12. He's going around 12.
Yeah. I like that.
Come on, Jamie. Just keep him in there.
Yeah, I just don't have as much confidence in. Go back to Ray Davis and the comparison to Braelon Allen, just in terms of handcuff versus playing now. Braelon Allen's going to play. Like, they're going to use him, he doesn't need a Breece Hall injury to hopefully be successful. They like the setup for him. I think Jaydon Blue and Bhayshul Tuten are like 2 guys I want on almost all my teams because at some point this year they're going to matter. At some point I think they may be the best running back for their team rest of season. I don't like that Blue has the heel injury, but I don't think it's anything serious comparatively to like Tyjae Spears. So I'll probably just take out Spears in the column and put Tuten in there.
If what we see from John Machota is correct, that none of the Cowboys running backs have run away with it yet, and that's with Sanders and Jaydon Blue being out with an injury, that does not inspire for me much confidence in Javonte Williams.
Correct.
Right? What an opportunity he has had. And if he hasn't taken advantage of that, then maybe he's just never going to regain the form that he had before his knee injury.
Yep.
So Tuten might have much easier, or Blue might have easier competition than Tuten.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Wide receivers, Christian Kirk. Now these guys are all going 130th or later. Christian Kirk, Luther Burden, Demario Douglas, and Cedric Tillman. How would you rank them? Kirk, Burden, Douglas, Tillman.
Burden, Kirk, Douglas, Tillman.
Why Burden over Kirk?
The potential for more upside. If he is the slot guy for Ben Johnson, which I think is what he'll be, there's immense opportunity here. He's not going to be a Amon-Ra St. Brown. Don't expect that. But if he plays that role, like, there could just be huge return. We've talked about this with Christian Kirk time and time again. He has 1 season in his career over 13 PPR points per game. I know 12.8, 12.9, he's been right there, but was the first year in Jacksonville. He was great. And floor versus ceiling, Christian Kirk's floor is much better. So, depending on what you need. I just wonder which CJ Stroud are we going to get? Can he consistently throughout the season, because we've seen it at times, but can he consistently throughout the season support 2 wide receivers? And is Kirk going to be the primary slot receiver week 1 through week 17? Because I wonder if he struggles or gets hurt because he's had a hard time staying healthy the last couple of seasons, had the groin injury, had the shoulder injury, is he going to be that guy? So if I need a 4th receiver that I need to plug and play every now and then, I'm probably taking Christian Kirk. Not the way I draft typically, but that's kind of the way I would, look at him. If I'm looking for the most upside, to me, I'm taking Bird.
Dave, you have anything you want to add on Kirk, Burden, Douglas, or Tillman?
I think that Kirk is the only one of those receivers who has a safe high floor. And when I say high floor, I'm thinking like 12 points in PPR. And non-PPR, I don't think there's much of a floor. But the worse that the Texans' run game is, the better it is for Kirk, because he can catch a bunch of short targets, screens, slants, etc. And that can make up for the run game in Houston. So he could benefit from that. He could be good for around 12 PPR points per game. When I see him in the draft queue, that's what I think. And then I look at other players that are also available, and this is in the late rounds. How many of these guys can be 12 PPR points per game? And the fewer amount of names that I see, that's when I know it's time to take Christian Kirk. And that's usually like round 11, round 12, something like that.
The auto select for me with one of my last picks is Demario Douglas. Like, can't get easier path to success for him for the role he's going to play. Like, it just, like, right now you look at the Patriots, every report out of New England is Diggs is locked into one spot. Douglas is a slot receiver. We'll figure out the other spot right now. And they have a lot of options that look pretty appealing, with the way that Dave's favorite wide receiver of all time with his last name, Booty, looks, and Kyle Williams and some of the things that he's done. And Matt Collins will be part of the mix as well. We know what the slot receiver has been for Josh McDaniels. I don't think that this guy has the upside of a Wes Welker or Julian Edelman. Probably the Danny Amendola production, which times was really great. I think Drake May is going to lean on I would say Pop Douglas, but Demario Douglas quite a bit. And so just based on where he's going, like free space.
Mm-hmm. And then you have Dalton Kincaid and Kyle Pitts. We kind of talked about them a little bit earlier. Kincaid had some very appealing. I think he had one of the highest target per route run rates among tight ends last year. He just didn't run that many routes. He played through a lot of injuries. So if maybe he can do a lot with his targets. I think he just, maybe I'm confusing his metrics. There was something appealing in his profile. I can look it up, but I don't think.
No, I think you're right.
Okay, so there's reason to like him, but I think the point is for Kincaid, he just didn't play enough last year. When he was playing hurt for a lot of it. All right, it is Team Name Tuesday. We got Travion, my wayward son. That's not bad. 28 Mays later.
I want to replace you as the singer on the show with Dan. Like, Dan's Eddie Vedder.
Yeah. Hell or High Waddle. These are all from the same guy. And then Genty Giants was one I saw on Twitter. Gotta be honest with you. I asked people on Twitter, on X, for some team names. I didn't really like them. I mean, we got to do a little bit better, people. We got to step up our game. Make Loveland, not Warren. Still the best one. That's still mine. Try to beat it. All right. Thank you, Dave.
You came up with that last Tuesday, right? We have a live stream tonight.
I think I came up with that months ago.
You were bringing it up on
the
show last Tuesday. We have a live stream tonight. There is a person in our chat that's very prominent, Adam Hahn. Please show up. Don't fall asleep this time.
Yes,
like
Adam
Hahn. With you tonight.
Also, I sent Jamie the name of someone who's going to be in the draft, and Jamie made fun of his name, and then I showed it to the guy, and we had a very nice laugh about it. It was really funny, actually.
Is that his profession?
No. He has a name that just screams dentist. He also listens to our show religiously, so he's going to hear this. All right. Before we go to Dave's, the rest of Dave's sleepers, I would like if maybe you'll indulge me for Adam's list of sleepers, which is different, which is people are sleeping on these guys.
Joe Burrow.
They're higher end, but I still think there's no column for these guys because they've already broken out. They're not sleepers. Typically, they don't go late enough. So I'm just going to say people are sleeping on them. Obviously, I'm going to say Pacheco, and I'm just going to say his name, and that's it. Isaiah Pacheco.
Do you see what his ADP is? It's crazy.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I just looked on NFC since August 1st, and he's 78th overall. He's RB26.
79.1 for us.
Yeah, and that's probably, running backs are going kind of late on the NFC. So I got Pacheco. I've got Joe Mixon as a sleeper in this regard.
Not on our ADP. You can't call him that.
He's 65th overall. Now, I say if Joe Mixon makes it to round 7, easy pick. I'm fine with him in round 6. Where's he in our ADP?
He's still a top 20 running back.
And he's RB21 in NFC. But I think this could be a massive overreaction to a preseason injury. I don't know that his competition is any good at all. Dave, I feel like you might be on my team here with Mixon.
Except I still would be a little skittish taking him in round 6. I obviously would love to draft any player I could as late as I possibly could. Very comfortable with him in round 7. And you're right. There really isn't a running back that stood out in Houston as far as I can tell without Joe Mixon being there. But are we going to get what we got last year, which is Joe Mixon missing a lot of training camp, showing up just in time to practice a little bit before week 1, and then playing early in the year, doing great, got hurt again, came back. He was great after that, got hurt again, and he was buns until the postseason. So there's clearly injury risk with him. I think if he does start to practice again soon, his ADP will shoot up, but it might only shoot up to like round 4. that might have been where we were drafting him anyway before this whole injury thing happened. Yeah,
that feels early because there are a lot of downs. There's a lot of negatives. The O-line does stink, but
I don't know if we know that it stinks.
Well, let me ask you this, Adam, as a Mixon guy. He comes back to practice tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Are you taking Henderson or Mixon?
Please don't ask me that. I knew you were going to ask me that. I don't know. I guess I would say Mixon.
Harvey or Mixon?
No, I'd say Mixon in half PPR, and I'll take. I'm gonna take the rookies.
Mixon's back. It's easily Mixon.
You're taking Mixon over the rookies?
Over Harvey and Henderson, yes. But he's got to be back and practicing. And
yeah, not me. I'll still take the rookies.
Yeah, actually, I think I got to go with Dave here, especially in half PPR or non-PPR. All right, I think Rashee Rice is being slept on at wide receiver 21 because, yes, we do have to see what the suspension is. But the point I would make is that there are no bye. When's the first bye week? Week 4 or 5?
4.
5. Okay, and 5?
Yeah.
Week 5.
Kansas City's bye week is week 10.
There are no bye weeks until week 5. So you're not necessarily desperate for that roster spot. So I've given you the examples of Alvin Kamara being suspended at the start of the season, Julian Edelman being suspended at the start of the season, and they ended up being two of the best picks in fantasy those years because you can get by. And if you think that Rashee Rice has no business being wide receiver 21, if he were not suspended, then don't be afraid to reach for him a little bit, especially if you only start 2 wide receivers.
Well, what if the suspension's more than that?
Yeah, then we'll revisit.
Right. And that's why I think his ADP is where it is because there's uncertainty about how long he'll be suspended for.
But like I had a league last year where I forget I had AJ Brown. He got hurt early. Each of my first 7 picks got hurt. And then they eventually got healthy and you can get by. Like the teammate, and this was a 3 receiver league. I had Puka Nacua. I had AJ Brown. I had Joe Mixon. They all got hurt early and 4 other guys did too. And you can get by. You can, if you have these guys for the stretch run, that's how you win. That's one of the ways you can win. Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver 41, I think is a joke. He's going to be on a lot of my teams.
That's a breakout candidate.
Dak Prescott, yeah, that's fine. Dak Prescott, QB 11. I'm a little hesitant on that one, but he could be so good if they have no run game.
Oh, the value is great.
They may not have a good defense.
Yeah.
And Tua Tagovailoa at QB 22. Again, like you could make the case that he should be behind everyone in that range, but there are at least 22 appealing quarterbacks this year. So,
he's a good, like, if you really want to wait on the position, and depending on how many teams draft 2 quarterbacks, like you can get by with Tua as that second guy if you draft a Drake Maye or a Trevor Lawrence or one of those guys, because Tua's. I mean, look, led the NFL in passing yards 2 years ago, right around 20 fantasy points per game. Last year, despite missing 6 games, 20 fantasy points per game. Like he's going to give you that floor. Just the ceiling is just not there for him. That's the problem.
Yeah. All right. So Dave, we only have a few minutes left. So here are
run through the names. And then if there's anybody you're curious about, I'll be quick on them.
Jordan Mason. We love him after pick 110.
Well, what's the title for these sleepers? What did I tell you?
Good ones.
They're just good ones. They're not great ones. They're not my favorite ones.
Okay. Justin Herbert is QB 14, 115th overall. Jordan Love, we talked about. Darnell Mooney, we talked about. Josh Downs, interesting player. Josh Downs is he just clearly ahead of Michael Pittman for everybody?
He is for me. I think he's more explosive. Another short area target. So I think he'll be hurt by Tyler Warren being there, but those are the 2 guys that I think are going to end up being the good target getters for Indy.
I can't see 2 of the 3 guys being good. I could see 1.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fair. But
decent.
I think Warren can be a low-end starter at tight end, and I think Downs can be maybe a number 3 receiver in full PPR, and definitely good depth, even in half.
Right. I can't see one of those guys. And look, to be fair, Downs did great last year. Pittman played through a back injury. Like, he still may be the alpha of this receiving core. It wouldn't shock me if that's the case, if he's healthy. Guy plagued by just awful quarterbacks his entire career.
I don't think he's a good fit for Daniel Jones.
Oh, I don't think he's a good fit for anybody there. So it's hard to say like he could be great. I think all of the Colts 3 pass catchers, they're worth drafting based on their ADP because Downs and Pittman can easily be cuttable. Like, it seems crazy to say that, but like they easily be cuttable if they stink because the quarterback stinks. I think like what Dave said is best. Like, I don't see one of these guys having top. I don't. It'd be shocking if Warren's a top 5 tight end. It would be shocking if one of the two receivers are top 20. It would be damn near impossible for 2 of those guys to be in those spots.
These are sleepers who can win you weeks, not years.
Well, Warren, I think
Warren might.
is
You're right. You know what? Warren might.
Position.
Right. That's fair.
Isaac Arendo is a sleep. Isaac, there's some backup running backs on here like Isaac Arendo and Trey Benson. I think we know the deal there. Jaydon Blue we talked about. Bhayshul Tuten we talked about. Trevor Lawrence was on Jamie's list. JJ McCarthy. These guys are QBs 19 and 20. I assume you like them better than Tua?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And what did you guys think of McCarthy in the preseason? He actually made some pretty good throws, I thought, to Addison in particular, but then there was also a throw where he put way too much mustard on it, which is like the biggest criticism of him.
I don't want to judge him without seeing Justin Jefferson. So if he came out and looked amazing and Jefferson is healthy, like I think that's a guy who could have seen a spike in ADP because of some of the hype. So you don't have Addison for the first 3 games. Jefferson right now is not on the field. Like I think he's going to kind of just hover in this mid QB2 range, late QB2 range, and this could be one of the guys we're talking about after week 1. Like, oh, why didn't you draft JJ McCarthy with a late round pick? And he could be in that top 12 mix. Wouldn't shock me at all.
And Dave Rashid Shaheed is on this list. He's the last guy on this list that we haven't already discussed.
Another boom bust receiver. I don't love the quarterback situation in New Orleans by any stretch, but he's fast. He can catch the deep ball. He can catch screens and make a play after the catch. It's a team that's going to be behind a lot. You could do worse in round 12 looking for a receiver to put on your bench.
Dave has a category called
Jerome Ford as a sleeper at all yet? Like the ADP is crazy.
Yeah. Good point. Who's the first running back you draft for Cleveland?
Ford.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Ford or Javonte Williams or Jaydon Blue?
I mean, the more this Judkins thing plays out, I'd rather have Ford. Like it's getting to a point where he's most likely their starter. I know 1 and 1A between him and Sampson. I think I need to see it from Sampson first, just based on how Jalen Wright's NFL career has started and knowing what the system at Tennessee was producing for these guys. Like they just run in these wide open lanes and it's amazing to watch, but hasn't translated to the NFL at least yet. Sampson's got a huge ceiling in front of him, especially with his potential role. But I think Ford is kind of one of these tried and true guys that may not have a huge ceiling. What was the number you get? I tried to give it to Chris Harris yesterday. What was the amount of long runs and the distance?
He's got the 3rd most runs of 60 or more yards.
It's 60 yards, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But how many runs total?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me tell you.
I mean, is it like a single digit or are we talking like?
Oh, no, it's 4, I think. Okay. Over the last 2 seasons, 3 running backs have 4 carries of 60 or more yards. Jerome Ford, Derrick Henry, and Saquon Barkley. Henry has 605 carries. Barkley has 592. And Jerome Ford has 312. So he has half the carries of Barkley and Henry, and yet he has as many that have gone for 60 or more. It feels so fluky to me because he's not really a big play threat, but he's done it 4 times. It's been
just from, again, looking at the average draft position, every Browns player, understandably so, is discounted. Every single one.
Yeah.
There's not one where you're saying, I can't believe this guy is ranked or being drafted in this spot, from Judy on down. And you could get this backfield for nothing.
Yeah.
You could draft, like, here, what, would you rather have the Cowboys backfield or the Browns backfield right now?
Cowboys in anything 12 teams or shallower Cowboys, because I see more upside there, like a Rico Dowd.
But I mean, it's a fair question, right?
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
And we can end on Jerome Ford, but actually let me just end with this question because I feel like I have to say his name. Does anybody think Miles Sanders could end up being the sleeper?
He's hurt.
In doubt. I know, but he's not
being the starter.
He might not make the team.
No, could Miles Sanders end up being the best running back in Dallas? What are the odds of that?
He could, and it would be absolutely disgusting if that's the case.
Okay.
He just, has some career renaissance that we just did not see coming.
Right. I hate to see it because he was great for a long time. I just feel like it's over.
Well, this was a fun show. Tomorrow we'll talk about busts, and I'm gonna just like bring up Brock Purdy tomorrow because I love Brock Purdy, but we keep talking about all these horrible things happening at wide receiver for them. We haven't once spoken, at least when I've been on, about what it means for Purdy. Is he maybe someone that should be on the bust list, or should he be on the breakouts list on Wednesday night, on Thursday when that publishes? All right. Anyway, fun week coming up on FFT. Thanks so much for watching and listening. We'll talk to you next time.